maiden speech, Simon Opher.
Thank you.
Here, here.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and thank you to the Honourable Gentleman from Waveney Valley to give us support for this really exciting bit of legislation, one of the most exciting, I think, in our manifesto. I'm delighted to be making my maiden speech during a debate on renewable energy. Stroud has for many years been a centre for sustainability in the environment. I'd like to thank them for supporting me. I have been a GP in Dursley for 30 years, which is part of Stroud, and I've looked after my patients there through thick and thin and through the most heart-rending moments and also through the most joyous moments, and it's been an absolute privilege. And to be honest, I slightly miss them in this place. But I'd also like to pay tribute to my predecessor as an MP, Siobhan Bailey, the Honourable Siobhan Bailey. Siobhan was always so cheerful and really positive, and I really admired her in that. And she also squeezed the last government into probably their best bit of legislation, I would say, which is about childcare, bringing childcare through, which this government is continuing and making sure we deliver on. She also, the people who knew Siobhan, she had a lot better hair than me, I would say. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll move on hastily. I'll also like to pay tribute to my predecessor in the Labour Party, Mr. David, the Honourable David Drew, who was a constituency MP of probably the best constituency MP I ever met, and is still very, very well loved in the area and still involved in local politics. He's given me lots of advice. One of them is be yourself, and I think that's good advice for all of us, so thank you for that. My father actually said there's quite a lot of similarities between being an MP and a GP. He said, well, first of all, you have surgeries, both of you, don't you? So we're doing surgeries. And the second thing is I thought about this more, and I thought what I told my trainees when I train other doctors with it, you have to know as a GP the first three things about everything. And that's really true as an MP as well. You don't have to be an expert on everything, but you have to know a little bit about everything. And that's certainly something that I've had to learn a lot about, I would say. The other thing is you need to be embedded in your community as a GP and an MP, but probably the most important thing is it's really a good doctor and a good MP. It's about listening and not talking. And the best doctors and the best MPs are the best listeners, so I would say that. So I'd like to talk a little bit about Stroud. Stroud is the most beautiful area. It's got hills and valleys. It's got. It was made famous by Cider with Rosie by Laurie Lee that you may have read. It's also a previous GP also in the area. About 200 years ago, Dr. Edward Jenner was in Berkeley, in my area. He discovered vaccination. Now, he is the one in the whole world. He's the man that saved the most lives. So we must have honour to him because vaccination is absolutely transformative for health, and in the future the mRNA vaccines are going to be used for treating cancer. So one of the really big benefits of the pandemic was we've developed this new therapy, and that's really exciting to me as well. It's also the home of very cutting-edge industries in Renishaws and engineering industry, and also Ecotricity, owned by Dale Vince, which has been on the cutting edge of sustainable energy for many years. Now that we also have Forest Green Rovers, which are a fantastic football club, the only carbon-neutral football club in the world. They're also vegan. Sadly, they were relegated out of the Football League this year. But we will be back. I can promise you that much. So, and some of the... well, I hope they will be anyway. A little bit of history. Dale Vince built a first wind turbine in 1996 on Tinkley Lane. Now, there's some lessons here. We had incredible local opposition to this for years and years. People did not like it. But now it's come to be accepted, and this is the future. This is about local community energy that many of us have spoken about. And I've been developing this in Stroud. We now have 6 projects. Waitrose are going to have solar panels on their roof. We're going to cover the hospitals in solar panels, and we've got a scheme to put every public building that we can see, put solar panels on it, and that will save having to put them on farmland as well. So I'd really recommend that. Madam Deputy Speaker, I'd just like to say one thing as well. A number of my constituents are currently in prison for climate activity, and although I don't condone their protests in any way, I would ask for 2 things. I would ask for the Home Secretary to review these really excessive sentences, and I'd also ask organisations like Just Stop Oil, come on, get behind us. We're the greenest government this country has ever seen. So can we stop the protests and start building with us? So that's what I would also ask. I'd just like to say a few little bits and pieces about community. Community is really important in Stroud. We have community hubs all throughout the constituency. And that one of the best is GL11 in Cam, run by Indigo Redfern. And they look after vulnerable people with volunteers. We also have community agriculture, the oldest scheme in the country. We also have a real big scheme about buying community shops. And when pubs close in little villages, we buy them as well. And we're also looking at buying land to protect it for people so that we can use it. So community is really important. I'd also like to mention a couple of other very quick things. May Lane Surgery, which is a place that I've worked for so long. I'd like to just praise to the doctors and the nurses and all the reception staff. They continue to deliver extraordinary care to the patients. And this is true throughout general practice. In this country. We're delivering extraordinary care. But I would say that we're in a certain amount of crisis. We have very low morale. As you know, everyone's complaining about not being able to get a GP appointment. And so I'm really proud of the fact that this government is going to fix general practice. It's going to invest in it, it's going to innovate, and it's going to make sure that patients get the service they used to get in 2010. So one other quick thing I'd like to say about innovation. About 25 years ago, I introduced an artist in residence in my surgery to treat patients with mental health. And then I managed to prove that it was incredibly effective to do this. We then expanded this into green prescribing, about getting people to do walks and that sort of thing. We got poets in nursing homes. We started prescribing people allotments. And these non-medical prescriptions are really crucial. And the other thing they do is they actually save the NHS money, because people go outside of the NHS and they realise they don't have to have medicines to make them better. So I would say the arts particularly are really crucial, and there's such a world-class arts sector in this country. We must support it, and we can use it to make ourselves better. So I'd like to come to a conclusion here. Now, it was funny, actually, when I arrived, I was talking to some of the wonderful staff in Parliament that's looked after our new MPs so well. And one of them said, he said, it's strange, you know, the Commons, it's like there's been a generational change. There's been like a wind blown through the Commons and replaced what we had before with these very young, much younger, that's not me, by the way, but much younger, many more women, really ethnically diverse, and LGBT people as well. And it's like this fresh wind that's come in, and I feel that's a real opportunity so that we can deliver real change in this country. So I just wanted to come back to my father. He said in 2019, he's 90, he was going to be here today and he couldn't make it, which is really sad, but he said in 2019 he's been a lifelong socialist and Labour Party member. He said, I'll probably never see another Labour government again. But he gets to see one. And let's make this work, and let's work hard to deliver renewable energy so that we can bring down the cost of power and change the whole environment of this country. Thank you very much.